Touchstone Security is a New Jersey-based company started in 2016. We focus on cybersecurity consulting. And from our experience, what we're finding is if you're dealing with a client who may have, let's say, 2 or 3 detection softwares, Lumu inevitably is detecting many more compromises that the other tools aren't, because those other tools are siloed in a way, right? They don't have these multitude of external threat feeds that Lumu has. Lumu has a huge capability to catch things that these other products aren't. And the beauty of what Lumu does is when it does see that compromise or that indicator of compromise, it'll integrate with the products you have and leverage those products to prevent the propagation of whatever that threat might be. So we can, for instance, blacklist an IP address or prevent an endpoint from continuing to execute whatever that program is that was reaching out to call home to the threat actor. Lumu really is instrumental in that way, that it complements the tools that we're currently using, such as Cisco Umbrella, right, or Fortinet, FortiGate, and FortiGuard, and that is what we like about Lumu.
We've had a couple of incidents through one of our clients where we found some users that would be going through and downloading things like torrents or games, stuff like that, that could have progressed into something depending on, of course, where they were downloading it from. Lumu definitely helped us narrow that down a lot. We were able to see exactly which user was initiating these downloads. We were able to see the exact IP address and the name of the machine that it was coming from. So we were very quickly and easily able to reach out to our client, explain to them what was going on, and kick off any scans that we needed to. One of my favorite features of Lumu is definitely the incident response view. It really easily and quickly lets us dig into exactly where a notification would be coming from, so we can investigate it much quicker and much more easily.
Lumu uses a variety of third-party threat feeds and brings those threat feeds together. The ability for it to do playback or look back, we find that to be one of the main values of Lumu. So when a zero-day exploit comes out and you're starting to detect that perhaps one of your systems or some of your systems have communicated with that threat actor system, you can determine, well, when did it start in the past? And you can look back as far as a year or even longer to determine whether or not there are other systems that may not be active now, but have had communicated with those threat actor systems in the past. The reporting that we get from Lumu is very concise, very easy to read, very understandable. And so for a tier 1 analyst, a level 1 analyst, doesn't really need to know a lot to understand the risk and be able to determine what needs to be done. A SIEM is basically a log aggregator. You have different sources of systems feeding your SIEM. It's basically taking its logs and forwarding it on to this central place. And the central place becomes very large because the more systems feed this thing, the bigger the database becomes. Lumu has a subset of data that is really focused on the threat actors. So it's not necessarily collecting, how much disk space you had free last week or what have you, right? It's really focused on threat actor activity and internet activity from your systems. So it's the subset of the large data set that you really are interested in, rather than a lot of the uninteresting parts you don't need.
Lumu's helped us increase our cybersecurity standing by giving us a greater view into our and our client networks. It's very helpful to be able to have the on-prem solution with the virtual appliance, as well as having the agents so that we can monitor any remote employees that might be on the road or that might be working remotely. Lumu definitely provides an additional value to all of our clients with the ability to monitor any off-premise device, which in the past has been definitely a struggle for a lot of our clients, especially with everyone moving towards a hybrid environment.